Hi, my name is Shayna Billingy, and today I will be presenting my UX project, Vernacular. Vernacular is a language learning app that focuses on conversations and interactive learning. I will be going over my entire UX process from beginning to end so that you can leave this presentation with a well-rounded view and perspective. Let's get started. So to start the project, I need to assess the current competitors to see what is being offered and what might be missing in today's market. I analyzed three competitors: Word of the Day, Learn English Vocabulary, and Lexalize Flashcards Maker. Word of the Day provided up to 5 words to learn per day. However, it lacks sufficient user options such as notifications, preferences, languages, etc. And it was not easy to navigate. There was no home button or menu. Learn English Vocabulary provided a useful mix of user learning techniques and a great user experience. However, the user was not able to input their own words, and the main interface could be streamlined a little more for a better user experience. Lastly, Lexalize Flashcards Maker provided several language options, categories, and user features. However, the app was not interactive and the navigation was lacking. Nadia Brown is a 34-year-old wife and mother who lives in Washington, D.C. She has a master's in organizational psychology and is a mid-level human resources manager with many international clients. Her motivations and goals are that she needs an interactive app that corrects her pronunciation and grammar. She needs a simulated immersive learning experience via real-world applications. She needs a convenient learning tool, and she needs to learn and improve on foreign language conversational skills for her clients. And she prefers an app with different levels, games, and quizzes, and reminders to keep her motivated and on task. So what exactly are we trying to solve? We want to develop an app that focuses on conversational learning that allows the user to speak confidently in business and personal settings. So therefore, our problem statement is the following. Nadia needs a way to learn new languages in an interactive and conversational manner because she wants to continue excelling at her job while serving the needs of her international clients. In Nadia's words, I feel more connected with my international clients when I can converse with them in a natural context. Some of the challenges noted was that she finds it difficult to retain new words from learning tools that lack conversational learning, such as tools that only focus on one word at a time. She commutes daily and only has short time frames for learning. She is too dependent on translators at work, and she learns better with competitive tools such as games and quizzes. For this project, I created 2 user flows. The first one is to complete the first lesson. So as you can see, we start at the top with the welcome screen as you open the app. You would then select your language from, your language to, and then you would go to the onboarding video. Then you would click Start Lesson. From there, you would select the level of difficulty, the categories, and the preferred practice method, and then you would proceed through the lesson. Once the lesson is complete, you would confirm by clicking Yes. It would show you your results, your points earned, and then it would ask you to select your reminders. Then the lesson would be complete. The next user flow is to save a new word to a personalized category. So you would start at the main menu, you would add new word, you can either type the new word or speak the new word into a microphone, then the translated word, definition, and suggested category would populate. You can either save the word to the suggested category, or you can add the word to a personalized category. You can add to an existing personalized category or create a new personalized category, and then you would save the word accordingly. The early wireframing involved Crazy Eights, which is basically a process where you sketch out your ideas within a certain time frame. So we started out with a splash screen with the logo, proceed to the login screen where you would put in your email password. You can also create an account or select forgot username or password if that's applicable. You would then select your language and then move to the onboarding video, which you could skip after 15 seconds if you chose to do so. You would click on new lesson, and then you would select your level of difficulty, the categories, and the practice methods, and then you would proceed through the lesson. The next Crazy Eights was for adding the new word. you would click Add New Word. You can either type it or speak it. The computer would auto-populate the word. You would confirm. Then it would populate the definition, translation, and suggested category. You can save the word to the suggested category or add to personalize, add to existing personalized category, or create a new category, and then you would save it accordingly. For the initial prototypes, I did provide a few examples. We have here clicking on New Lesson. The language here that I selected from was English to French. And then once you selected your language that you would like to learn, that would always populate at the top. The level of difficulty dashboard has 6 options. We have beginner, which involves pre-production or early production, intermediate, which is speech emergence or intermediate fluency, advanced, which has advanced fluency or conversational vernacular. Then you would proceed to the categories dashboard, which has home, food, environment, business, education, clothing, art, sports, health, leisure, travel, or social media. For my prototypes, I did recruit 3 testers, and I had them complete 5 specific tasks. The first task was, can the user continue a lesson that they previously started? Is the user able to change the level of learning? Is the user able to select the live clip video learning tool? Can the user set reminders? And can the user find the cumulative points earned? After all the testing was completed, the following prototype issues were identified. First, all the testers did note that an assessment test was needed at the start of the lesson rather than as an option during the lesson. The way I had it postured was I had the assessment test as an option. If the user wanted to accumulate more points, they could click on that. But they all stated that having it at the beginning as a mandatory selection would force them to understand what level of learning was required for them personally. So that change I did make. They also wanted me to move the reminders from the end of the lesson and move it to the start of the lesson because they all noted that most individuals would not complete a full lesson in one sitting. So therefore, they might not ever get to the reminders on the first time completing a lesson or trying a lesson. So I did make that change. Next was they wanted me to clearly label the icons and change some labels. One label in particular was dashboard for one of my icons, and they wanted me to change dashboards to something else because they stated that that might be confusing to some users, so I did take on that advice. Also, they wanted the onboarding to outline fully the menu and icon features, which I did do that. And they wanted finally to move the cumulative points next to the progress bar because none of them were able to find where the cumulative points were located. So they wanted the cumulative points to just auto-populate and always be visible at the top next to the progress bar. So I did make that change. Here are some of the prototype revisions. We see here that the menu features are fully outlined so the user understands the selections. We also have the assessment test, which has now been moved to the beginning as a mandatory step because that will then put the user into the correct level of learning that is required. Next is reminders. The user can choose the days, the time, etc. And then we have cumulative points, which is right underneath that progress bar and will autofill as the user is going through the lesson. So what's next? I would like to add additional immersive simulation tools. I would also like to add a call to action to redeem cumulative points for tutoring. I would also like to add a feature for buddy group learning, and I would also like to add achievements. What did I learn? Some of the pros are that I did definitely learn the value of user feedback. The testers did highlight some issues that clearly I should have noticed earlier, and their feedback was very valuable. And I also learned not to overthink at the beginning stages. I think that I was trying to put everything together at the beginning rather than just letting the ideas flow. I learned all the fundamentals of UX design, inclusive of testing, wireframing, and user flows. And I learned to create a more simplistic version initially and then build on that version during the process. Some of the cons was that I do not have any prior experience in UX design, so I was just starting from scratch. I also spent too much time on minor details, which I learned is not a useful experience for me in terms of time. And also, my progress was dependent on the availability of others for interviews and prototype testing because their input and participation was necessary for this project. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. Have a great day.